Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did, and we just want to start off with some good stuff.
And that's what this story is going to do, give us some good stuff. Hi, my young readers. I'm so glad to be back, and I'm so glad that you're back.
Little darling,
Yeah,
tell me, how did you do for the holidays?
I get the feeling you already know. That's why you're kind of asking me.
Well, I thought you were coming over for Thanksgiving, but we didn't see you, and I was wondering how everything was going.
Well, I didn't want to bother anyone, but whatever this stuff that I had, it came back, and it came back even worse. So my Thanksgiving was not that great. I was kind of in bed most of it.
You did get your flu shot, right?
I did, and maybe I just wasn't over what I thought I was over. So I think maybe I'm on that road of healing and everything, and I want to thank everybody for all of their well wishes. So let's see about this story, shall we? Stay tuned. The name of this story is called Arthur Goes to Camp by Mark Brown. This is a request by Catherine Simmons. Catherine, thank you for your request. Enjoy. I'm not going, said Arthur. Arthur, you'll love camp. Think of all the new friends you'll make, said his mother. I have fond memories of my own camp days, said Arthur's father. Camp will teach you about the great outdoors. I'm not going. Arthur was at the camp bus stop the next morning. Buster was standing with a new kid. He's got 100 comic books in his footlocker, squealed Buster, pointing to the brain. Francine was there too. You guys better watch out. Tent 3 is full of bats and snakes, she yelled out the window. It's gonna be just like school. The girls against the boys, thought Arthur. When the bus passed Camp Horsewater, even the girls stopped teasing. Look at those guys, said Buster. They're gonna be great shape for our scavenger hunt. No wonder they always win. That's no camp. That's a zoo, said Arthur. Things were different at Camp Meadowcroak. Well, at least for the girls. I'll do my best to make this a wonderful summer for you, said the girls' counselor, Becky. Even Muffy looked eager when she pulled up in her limousine. Where do I plug in my air conditioner? She hollered. The boys' counselor was a different story. Attention, men. Line up, barked Rocky. Stand up straight. Suck in those guts. I've never seen such a soft, flabby bunch. No dessert for you men this summer. Muffy had brought her own dessert. After a dinner that tasted like macaroni and fleas and worm burgers, she opened her trunk. The girls dug in. At bedtime, Muffy discovered the tent had no electricity. How will I brush my teeth? She moaned. The boys were too tired from all their running and push-ups to think of brushing their teeth. They crawled under the covers. Arthur screamed. Amphibians! How fascinating, said the brain. No, they're frogs, said Buster. Just wait until we get a hold of those girls, said Arthur. Dear Mom and Dad, camp is terrible, just like I thought. The food is bad. I'm still very homesick. Please come and get me. Love, Arthur. Let's see you do the dead man's float, Buster. Have a good trip, Brain. Forget about the frogs, said the girls. You guys better worry about the softball game instead. The girls were beating the boys at everything. Disgusting, said Rocky. I'll never live this down. Hey, Four Eyes, need new glasses? In fact, all that week, the girls were great campers. They built campfires, pitched tents, tied knots, identified plants. All the boys could find was poison ivy. Rocky hid in his cabin. Arthur wrote postcards home. Dear Mom and Dad, I miss you and I cried when I read your letter. When are you coming to get me? Camp is gross. Love, Arthur. Arthur had a lot to write about. The frogs in his bed were bad enough, but now really weird things were happening. The girls thought the boys threw a smoke bomb in their tent. The boys thought the girls took all their clothes. Dear Mom and Dad, this place gives me the creeps. I've got to get out of here. Love, Arthur. But one night, everybody heard strange noises and footsteps in the woods. It had to be someone else. Everyone was too scared to tell ghost stories. We have to do something, said the Brain. Let's stand watch tonight and find out what's going on. Ooh, grrr, ooh. So that's it, Camp Horsewater, whispered Buster. They've been trying to scare us all along. Don't worry, we'll fix them tomorrow at the scavenger hunt, said the Brain. I've got a plan, but we'll need the girls' help. Arthur had a plan too. He decided to run away. Dear Mom and Dad, I decided not to wait for you to come and get me. I think I can remember how to get home. Love, Arthur. Welcome to the annual Meadow Croak and Horsewater scavenger hunt. The next morning, Becky read the list of things to find. And be back at sunset, she said. The Brain nudged Francine. Time for phase 1 of the plan, he whispered. Watch out for bears! The woods are full of them, she yelled to the Horsewater kids. They just laughed. Nobody noticed Arthur sneaking away. Everybody was in the woods looking for things. Strange noises started coming from the bushes. Suddenly, a huge furry animal burst from the underbrush. A bear! Hollered Muffy and Buster and Francine, trying not to giggle. When the Meadowcroak team started hunting again, the bear helped too. How can you wear this coat, Muffy? The Brain's voice floated out from the fur. It's so hot. It's never too hot for Mink, Muffy grinned. Our plan really worked, but we still haven't found a flashlight. And has anyone seen Arthur? Said Buster. It doesn't matter if the Horsewater team never comes down from the trees. We can't win if we don't have everything, groaned Francine. Meanwhile, it was getting dark and Arthur was lost. He heard strange noises. Were they footsteps? Arthur reached into his backpack for his flashlight. He snapped it on. A flashlight! We won! 3 cheers for Arthur! Dear Mom and Dad, the scavenger hunt was great. Camp is great. I want to come back next year. Love, author. Well, that ends our story. I hope, my young readers, that you enjoyed it. Triangel, how did you enjoy it?
Oh, I definitely enjoyed it. Also, am I right in thinking this, little darling? Um, is this the story that introduces the brain to the author's story?
I'm thinking you may be right because at the beginning of the story, I think Buster was all excited about this new kid at the bus stop and he had all these comics and he introduced him as the brain. So I'm thinking you may be right. You just may be right.
But you know who I really enjoyed in this story? Muffy. She had everything that you needed in this story.
Until you mentioned Muffy, I really didn't think about it, but you are absolutely right. Muffy did have everything they needed. But the thing that gets me, that just cracks me up, was when she was dropped off and she's running down in to get, counted in. And the first thing she's yelling out is, where can she plug up her air conditioner? Come on, guys. An air conditioner at camp?
Or how about when they were all turning the tables on that other camp, Horsewater Camp, and the brain ended up being in that hot coat, and he's asking Muffy, how can she wear something like this? It's so hot. And Muffy tells him, it's never too hot for mink. That cracked me up.
Well, it's sounding like that Muffy needs to get the MVP award, most valuable player on this team, because she came in when they had lousy lunch, dinners, whatever. She was able to open her trunk and they were able to dive in on her snacks. And from what I can read, she had some serious snacks.
Well, we did have one character who stayed under the radar, if you will. And that character is, of course, Arthur. Arthur had, these great little, postcards that he was doing to his parents that they either ignored or just didn't get. And he just decided he wanted them to pick him up. But when he didn't hear back from him, he decided he gonna just go on his own.
Yeah, he did seem to have his own little thing going on during the whole thing that was happening. But it ended up that in his grand scheme of things of trying to uh, run away and get back home, he ended up winning the whole thing for the team. So yeah, the way things turn out. And then at the end of that, he ended up liking camp, wanting to do it again. I'm like, okay.
That's how Arthur is. Well, I've got to go. I've had a fun time. I can't wait to do it again. So until next time, bye.
Bye, Try. Triangel is always a fun sidekick to have. Well, until next time, my young readers, I am your little darling narrator, out.